A lot of fans have been asking, are you still going to have podcasts while you're on tour? Well, I'm on tour right now, and here's your podcast. Yes, we are going to have podcasts all summer long. Go to mcchris.com/pages/shows for tickets and information, or just go to mcchris.com and click on the tour poster. There's an option to street team as well. In 2005, I quit Cartoon Network and started touring. It's 20 years later. I'm still at it. Come celebrate with me because I'm probably coming to your town. If I haven't already been there, maybe I'm there right now. Who knows when this takes place in the span of time and space? Go find out at mcchris.com/pages/shows or click on the tour poster at mcchris.com. I already said that. Bring your friends. Make it a party. Invest in actual experiences. They're way better than doom scrolling. Memories last forever, especially if I've traumatized you. Okay, let's do the podcast.
Where do you run when you go running?
I ran around the block. Took me 7 minutes to run around the block. And I had to stop because I was like, ran too fast or something. Normally I can run about 10 minutes before taking a break.
And then when you take a break, you just walk.
I walk for about 5 minutes and then I go do another 10. And then I walk for 5 minutes and then I do another 5.
I've been doing a new regimen of walk for 3, run for 6. And then it gets,
you increase the numbers a little bit.
Ever since I got injured, it like brought me back down to fucking 0, which was killing me.
I'm always having to like start over. Like the holidays are always fucking me.
It's the problem with running. Like, I love running, but if you go 2 weeks and don't run, it's essentially like almost starting all over again.
Yeah.
This was, for me, was really starting all over again. Like, I couldn't even run a mile. I had to stop at I had to walk when I first started again. I was like, ugh. But
I mean, I tried to do, sometimes I don't have the podcast. I swear to God, this podcast is the only thing where that will make me space out enough while I'm running, where I don't think about I'm running or, oh, this is starting to hurt or I need to,
What do you listen to?
I listen to us. It literally is the only thing that gets me through a run.
You got that relaxing flute music, and then they're gonna hit that, but that's the show.
Is that Oliver?
Yeah, I don't know why I was in there peeing, and I have glorious food running through my mind. Haven't seen the movie.
You've never seen the movie, Oliver?
Well, I mean, I have a long time ago. I've never seen the show. I've never seen it live.
Yeah, we watched the movie. It's fun.
It's like one of those 60s-ish ones.
I mean, is the whole
dirty.
thing racist?
Well, I mean, isn't every movie pre-whatever racist?
Pre The Great Awakening?
Yeah, I mean, everything pre-Hot Tub Time Machine is...
That's your Battle of Yavin, is Hot Tub Time Machine?
Probably. I was trying to think of a movie that's old but not too old.
Yeah. I went to England and found all the Dickens stuff. His homes and...
That's cool.
And his dad was in debtor's prison and...
Oh, yeah.
I just love going to these places in England and you see everyone's just so fucking small. It's like every door frame you have to crouch down. Even me, I'm 5'5". You got to crouch down to walk through a door frame.
Yeah. My father-in-law
how big was everybody?
He's in Boston. There's the Charles Dickens Society Library.
Yeah.
But it's like a place, if you're a member, you can just go in there and he'll frequently go to just go chill out and read his books. And but they always have talks and things in there. But he loves Dickens.
You say he loves Dick.
He loves Dickens.
So I've got a pimple on my nipple.
How do you know it's not just a second nipple coming out?
Of the one nipple?
Yeah.
You got a nipple
on you had a vestigial twin, but now it's trying to show dominance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other day, it got rubbed the wrong way. I'm like, what? And it's like you do a nipple check, and one nipple's fine, but the other nipple's sensitive.
Wait a minute. You do a nipple check?
I did a nipple check.
Like every morning, brush your teeth.
I don't do it every morning. It's just like one nipple was causing pain and was being sensitive. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on with this? Because it's like, being old, it's like every day it's like, well, okay, what's broken?
Yeah.
And, but, it's like, and then I look at it, there's like a whitehead or there's a pimple underneath, trying to pinch it, see if anything comes out. I'm just turning myself on.
But the skin's too thick.
So is nipple skin thick?
I mean, I got to assume it's made for rough riding. I mean, it's made for
pinching and plucking
kids to be sucking on them. So there's got to be a little. Why
do men have nipples?
I don't know, but I remember when we got our puppy and I took him to the vet, and I was like, I just never thought about it. I was like, why does this male dog have nipples? And the vet goes, why do you have nipples? I said,
the vet looks at you like,
and I was like, that's why you're a vet. You know what? That's why you're a doctor. You?
There's this one Life in Hell comic where the bunny, forget his name, Bongo, it's like, how come men got nipples? And but it's a good question. I think it must be evolution. Like, why, there's like a part of your foot that feels like right here. I'm pointing the center top of your foot where it feels like another toe probably came out of there at some point. There's like, everyone's
the middle toe.
Well, the bone. There's like a bone thing. And
dogs just had real high arches.
And dogs have it.
Well, they have the dew claw.
What is that?
That's that one that's like back here that frequently doesn't even have a
purpose?
nail on it, but it's like a little. It's like a boneless toe, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know why they call it the dew claw, but that's what it's called.
Evolution's crazy. Do you go to the dermatologist ever? Get like skin tags removed?
No.
I do.
I don't have, thankfully, knock on wood,
you've got
any
good skin
tags. I don't know if I have good skin, but I don't have skin tags.
Well, I wear these t-shirts all the time, or I'll be on tour and like the seatbelt or the t-shirt will just like constantly rub against parts of so this area where the collar of the t-shirt is always got like skin tags. And then I finally took up the courage to like go to a dermatologist, which I was really like scared to do. I'm scared to do everything. I was scared to go to the dermatologist and show her like my skin.
Yeah.
She just like cut everything off, charged me a gabillion dollars.
Yeah.
And then of course some of them are coming back.
Yeah.
Because it's
skin.
Just, yeah.
Did she give them to you? You have them in a little matchbox? Carry them around.
Yeah, around my neck.
Memories. Hey, nobody's leaving here with a piece of me. I'll take all those back, please.
I know what you guys do.
Yeah. I was thinking when I have this tooth removed that at some point I had to have removed. I want to keep it.
What tooth are you getting removed?
I have a wisdom tooth that came in, but it doesn't go straight up. It kind of came this, so it's blocked by the tooth in front of it. It's not a major thing, but
you never had your wisdom teeth removed?
No. And the other three...
Why is that?
They never came in. The one came in, but it basically just got past the gums and sort of stopped. So it's lower than all the other teeth, but I have to have it. Yeah, it's lower by a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like bumping into the one in front of it, so it doesn't come in all the way. It doesn't hurt or anything. It's just there, but I keep, because it's surgery, they knock you out and all this stuff, and then they also said it'll probably be 5 weeks to heal. So I keep thinking, how long can I go and maybe not record? How is it going to affect me vocally if I have to record something? But then it's going to be like I'm on tooth out leave.
Yeah.
That's all I can do.
Yeah. Well, I hope it goes well. I remember having that done in Philly after college.
Wisdom teeth removed?
Yeah. And I remember passing out during the anesthesiologist, after they give you the anesthesia. And my mom being like, she couldn't handle seeing me pass out. It was like she was watching me die or something. I don't know. But she's like, I couldn't do it. I had to look away.
Turns out she was stepping on your air hose. Oh, God. Sorry. Was that me?
Yeah.
There he is.
I still, It was weird. We had like pediatricians and kid dentists, and we never really knew when to stop seeing them and when to like get an adult dentist. I remember there was one point where I was at my pediatrician, and he's like, and he was a neighbor too, someone I grew up with. I remember watching like Donnie and Marie a TV movie at his house once with his family. And like they're on a motorbike in Hawaii. Do you remember this at all?
No.
You ever watched the Donnie and Marie movies? Do you like Donnie and Marie?
I didn't know they had movies.
They had movies.
Everyone had a Donnie and Marie show.
Movies.
I didn't know they had.
Yeah, but they had some sort of like, it was called Coconuts or something. But
okay.
But I remember I was at the pediatrician's office. He's like, I juggle now. You want to see me juggle? I was like 15 or something.
You were doing this for him?
No, he was doing that for me. And he was like, he was juggling using the floor, like bouncing balls.
Yeah, okay.
And he's doing a whole routine. And I was just like, he's like checking my junk. And
Jesus.
And I was like, I think I need a new doctor.
I'm going to advise you not to wear cotton underwear. Chafing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I never saw a pediatric dentist. We just went to the regular dentist.
Mm.
But my daughter goes to a pediatric dentist. And it is sort of like, so at what point do you... But they're an all skate. They're two... One of them is the dentist. The other guy is the... Like, does the Invisaligns, orthodontist. But they share an office. But yeah, I mean, is it just like when you're 18, you're like, see you later, dude? Or I guess it's when you go to college.
There's a certain point where it gets silly or something. You're like, I don't need to watch Moana while you look at my balls.
Yeah. Oh no. No. And then later in life, you're like, I need to look at Moana.
Can you put on Moana for me?
All right. Here's how this is going to go, Stephanie. I'm going to ask you to play with my balls. I'm just going to be over here watching Moana.
Do you like Disney movies?
Yeah.
Or is it the Disney parks that you like?
Well, I love the Disney parks.
Do you like Disney movies that come out now, or did you like Disney movies that came out in the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s?
I mean, I have nostalgia for the old ones. Like, probably my biggest, whether the movies are good or not, I couldn't even tell you. But, like, they're so nostalgic to me. I love The Rescuers. I love Robin Hood.
I love Robin Hood.
And I love The Jungle Book.
Mm.
Those are my...
Jungle Book and Robin Hood use same animation sequences and just like change...
And have the same bears.
Change the costumes.
I mean, Baloo is Little John.
Right. I love it how Snow White was like this amazing thing, and then but there's a point where Disney just is like, ooh, we gotta cheat.
Whatever, all that Xerox stuff that they thought was gonna make it. I mean, I like the look of those the 101 Dalmatians, like when it's those scratchy lines because they were doing the Xerox thing and stuff. But
if I said which do you like better, Tangled or Moana, what would you say?
I mean,
you don't have an opinion. When things went computer generated, did that bug you?
I don't like them as much. I mean, I think I like them different. Like, I think I probably...
Has there been one that's come out recently where you're like, well, now that's a fucking good movie? I
mean, I know they're not necessarily Disney when they came out, but I loved Finding Nemo, and I loved Ratatouille. I thought those ones were above and beyond.
Yeah.
I even think I remember like when Finding Nemo came out, I think I saw it like 4 or 5 times at the movies because I'd be with somebody else and like, let's go see a movie. I'm like, I wanted them to watch it.
I was always doing that too. I was always showing movies to people. Like, you've got to see this. I remember taking all my friends to go see The Frighteners. Peter Jackson.
I did that too.
I was like, this is the future. Because it was like the first time CGI had been used in that way. I remember sitting down, all my friends, making them all sit down in Philadelphia to watch Bottle Rocket, which was the first Wes Anderson movie. I remember taking Curtis Gwynn and Brett Gelman. Curtis Gwynn is now the head writer on Stranger Things, and Brett Gelman is in Stranger Things. And I remember saying, you guys, let's go see Monster House. I want to show you Monster House because it was 3D computer generated.
Oh, right.
And that was written by Dan Harmon. But I remember there were things that I did that I was like, I was showing people movies like, you have to
Yeah.
experience the future with me. This
I
is
didn't
the
do it.
future.
I didn't want people to see it because I thought it was like
You thought it was good.
genre shattering. I did the same thing with Death to Smoochie. I loved Death to Smoochie.
With Robin Williams and Edward Norton. Is
Yes. I thought it was like
that Danny
the
DeVito
premise-
directed that?
Yeah. The premise was so great. It wasn't as good as the premise. However, I still loved it.
Yeah.
I can still watch it and enjoy every second of it.
I've never seen it.
It's great.
What happens?
It's a guy named Rainbow Ralph who's basically Captain Kangaroo gets fired and they put in Barney.
Mm-hmm.
And then Captain Kangaroo tries to kill Barney.
Mm.
And that's essentially the movie. With various ups, the Irish mob is brought in, and I mean, everything's there. Edward Norton plays the Barney guy, who's sort of he's Smoochy. Robin Williams is Rainbow Ralph, and it's at this network wherever they're supposed to be. I don't know. I can't remember what city it's in, but I think Danny DeVito might be in it as like a lawyer or something.
Robin Williams has such a weird career.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end, he's just like playing serial killers and
also
just going so
I
dark.
mean,
And
his career towards the end was like not great. I mean, he did the movie RV, and he did that television show called like The Crazy Ones, which was like an ad agency.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like and I get it. Like, listen, I'm an actor who's not famous or rich. I'll do anything. You hire me? You want to be in something? Yes, please.
you ever remember that movie, I'll Do Anything, with Nick Nolte? And it was supposed to be a musical with all songs written by Prince. And they
No.
took all the songs out and then still released it.
I don't think I know what this is.
Like James Brooks, I think, or something.
Oh, wow.
But yeah. And then
Never heard of that.
it was a really weird movie.
The guys are doing a big movie musical. Get me Nick Nolte. Yeah, baby.
I'm always walking over the plaque, or the sidewalk plaque, or I don't know what you call it, but to commemorate all the films filmed in the studio.
On
Radford Studio.
Ventura.
Yeah, and it's like I Love Trouble with Nick Nolte
Yes.
and Julia Roberts. I just remember all these Nick Nolte bombs.
That was a good movie, though.
Was it good?
Yeah, I think that one did well.
Did it?
He was in a lot of big. I mean, you can only be in so many bombs before they put you in movie jail and you don't make them anymore.
I feel like there's some people who never have to go to movie jail. Like Nick Cage never has to go to movie jail.
He's in movie jail.
They just announced Spider Noir, which is him playing Spider-Man.
He was in movie jail for a while. And then he was doing like those movies that were like, they had a budget of $1 million and he probably got $500,000 of that.
Yeah.
But then he was able to...
he makes like 10 movies a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he went bankrupt.
Is that what
and
happened?
he's got to do... Oh, he had like the greatest collection of horror movie posters. I want to say like the single most best preserved original poster from the movie Dracula. He had it, and it was cost squillions of dollars. All that shit he had to sell.
I know he
bankrupt.
owned the New Orleans murder house. You know about that place?
No.
With the old lady, she like kept all of her slaves in the attic and like did all kinds of experiments on them and tortured them. And
like, what was that?
It was an American Horror Story, that Fox
Right.
show. Kathy Bates
That was like
played
based
her.
on it. Yeah,
Yeah, when they did
yeah.
a New Orleans season. That
Wasn't
was like the
there
last.
one-
That was the last time
yeah.
I watched that show.
I like hate love it.
Well-
I hate watch.
Well, I mean, I was like really into it because it's like New Orleans is like one of my favorite places
Yeah.
and to tour. And I loved like the New Orleans history. I was starting to learn about it, learned more about this like murder house and Marie Laveau, and started to learn a little bit about all the little stories that come with New Orleans. And then this show, it kind of like put them all together. But then like there's some point with that show, I think I tried to watch it, tried like 7 times to watch it. There's some point during the season where everything would just go to shit. Like they just never knew how to stick the landing. The setups were always great, but then they just never knew what to do.
Yeah.
I think I liked the witch season. Might have been the last season I thought was good.
I think that was the one in New Orleans.
Oh, was that?
They were like, they had the school for girls and they were all...
That was the last time. And now you look at these billboards in LA and it's like the Kardashians are in it and someone's having a baby.
Yeah,
and
get lost. They also
I haven't
seem
watched
like...
it in years.
They also seem like trashy. I mean, that's kind of what they are. They're like almost like a trashy horror soap opera. It's just they have, and they're always like weirdly, overly sexual. But I remember liking, again, exactly like you said, the setup of the one about Roanoke also. That was like based on, the settlers that
love that story.
disappeared.
Or that lack of story.
Although I just heard now they think they found out what happened to them all.
They found a pot or something.
They all assimilated into the other native tribes around there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they all went.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple on whatever that island of what they wrote on the tree.
Mm-hmm. Croatoa.
Yeah. Most, like they did DNA tests, like only in the last couple years of the Croatoa that are still Croatoa. And they found English DNA and everything. So they think probably they didn't get murdered. They just went and started living with some of the other friendly natives who were around there. And that's what happened. Because the guy left for like 3 years or something, right? I mean,
yeah. I guess Ryan Murphy is he's like a Tyler Perry. I don't know if Tyler Perry is a bad guy, but it's these people who like succeed too much and just go insane and become like dictators.
I feel like Tyler Perry made an empire out of nothing and deserves everything he has.
Yeah.
But I have heard, did I tell you this story?
Mm-mm.
A friend of ours, because, you probably know a lot of people who worked for him, right?
Tyler Perry?
Yeah.
No.
Like Adult Swim. I mean, a lot of like
it's an
Mary
Atlanta,
Kraft
it's an
and all
Atlanta
those
thing.
guys. Yeah.
Oh, Mary Kraft. I just saw Mary in The Accountant. So,
okay.
So I sent her messages. I'm like, you're in The Accountant. I love it when you're messaging somebody and you look at the last time you spoke to them and it's like over 10 years.
2017.
Yeah. But she's always like popping up.
A friend of ours was
She was a drinking buddy of mine.
Oh, yeah. She's great. And what's her? Dan is her ex-husband, but he's in Pretty Face. But I mean, you can't be that successful and everybody's going to think you're wonderful. I'm sure many people think he's wonderful. He probably is wonderful, but he's also got to get some shit done. I
think the insanity leads to the success, and then the power plus insanity, just crazy shit starts happening.
Where's but you said the insanity's first. Can't be first.
Well, the insanity kind of provides the insane drive to do things, because most people are just normal and won't succeed. But everyone that succeeds, they're doing a lot of shit to make let's say you're doing thousands of auditions instead of just 100 auditions a year or something,
I say that's the drive. I don't think you have to be insane for that. You really want something.
Yeah.
And you're willing to work hard for it. I think when the insanity comes also is either, then you get real successful and you become crazy because you have money. And people who don't tell you basically start getting everything you want. No one's telling you no. Which
everyone's sycophantic.
Or you keep going and going and you have that drive, but nothing comes of it. But then you just hunker down harder. And then you're pushing a shopping cart down Ventura Boulevard, talking to space.
I'm almost there.
I was cast. I was replaced by a young Edward James Olmos.
I was on Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah,
give me your money.
The next door neighbor.
I saw an intro to Laverne and Shirley. It was the last season.
Oh,
and Laverne lives in L.A. There's no Shirley. And then I saw in the comments, Shirley had a baby and they wouldn't give her time off, so they fired her. And then the show was horrible without Shirley. They still called it Laverne and Shirley, even though Shirley was no longer on the show.
I thought she left because she wanted to pursue her movie career. And she got too
I read
big
that. I mean,
for the
I
show.
read in a comment with lots of misspelling in it,
Oh,
so
okay,
you never
well.
know if it's like the person's crazy who's
I
commenting.
think like that was one of those things that like she kind of shot herself in the because she got in a.
I love
in a
that.
couple
I love that when
movies.
they like they Chevy Chase it, and
Yeah.
they're like, Chevy was on SNL for 1 year, and then he was like, "I'm out. I'm a star.
Well,
Let's go."
He was correct.
Well,
but,
and
like
that
Shelley
year he
Long-
started making movies. I think he made like 10 movies with
Yeah.
Goldie Hawn or something.
Oh yeah, but like Shelley Long left Cheers because she did Camp Beverly Hills. And was like, this is going to be. Sorry guys, I've got bigger fish to fry. And
She's one
then-
of those people who's like really flat without the writers.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, without your writers,
And the ensemble.
you've got nothing going on.
Yeah, you got that. You got to be in that ensemble.
Yeah.
I mean, I get you might get tired. I just don't know. I don't know what it would take to leave something that was that successful. You must have people with you, your managers and things like, we got to get out of this television thing.
Well, I mean, I kind of
you can't work there
went through
40
that with
hours a
Adult
week.
Swim. I mean, I was in a really great. My parents were so weird. They're always like, they never watched the cartoons. They never understood what I was doing. And then when it came time for me to be a rapper, they were like, right beforehand, they're like, "That's a really good job you've got. That's a good job." And you're like, you could have said that while I had it. You could have told me that you thought it was a good job. But the whole time they were like, I think I put on C-Lab for them once and they didn't crack a smile. They're just looking at it like they're from a different planet. And I'm showing them like Andy Warhol movies or
They're
something.
watching it like the majority of people would watch it.
Yeah, but they just did not get it at all. Didn't understand what I was doing. And then I left and they're like, "Oh, you had a good job there. You shouldn't have left." But then I started making money. They started calling me $1 Million Baby. But
I'm
yeah.
talking about the opposite.
I know, but
Like,
I probably
$1 million
shouldn't.
thing.
Had I stayed in Adult Swim, I mean, that good things could have come of that. At the same time, I saw a lot of like people that we know, like there was no upward mobility. They just stayed assistants.
and
Eventually, they became producers and maybe were given a chance to try a show, but they never got to become anything.
You have an organization that if there's only 50 slots and nobody's leaving, I mean, there's only so many,
I remember Jim Fortier would say to me, because I was always so afraid of getting fired. I was high and paranoid, but I always thought like I'm going to get fired. And Jim said, "Well, if you're here, you're probably never going to leave unless you want to."
Yeah.
Which was true. But I remember Keith would be like, "We're having a company meeting. Everybody meet out in the meeting area at like 3 p.m. And I'd be like, "Oh, mass layoffs. Oh, I'm going to get fired." And it would be like a Sunday party, like a ice cream sundae party. And like they'd be doing some sort of crazy Adult Swim, let's drop a bunch of cash for no reason thing.
We're having a clam bake.
We brought a bunch of elephants into the office.
Yeah. I can't, but I'm talking like I can't see your Shelley Long, and it's got to be that you have people who are your people.
Agent. You've got an agent,
right? Your manager
or a manager saying, "Let's."
And your agent
they want more
saying,
money.
You're going to be the next whoever. You're going to be the next Goldie Hawn.
You have a manager and an agent, right?
I don't. No, I have an agent.
Have you ever had both?
A very brief time.
It's like a manager is supposed to like kind of
manager
guide you through the
manager
experience.
shapes your career.
Yeah.
Shapes your career, whereas an agent gets you auditions and negotiates your contract.
Right.
In theory of it.
Do you ever felt like you should have had a manager?
I don't know. I mean,
was that one experience a bad experience?
No, it wasn't. It was just sort of meh. And he would do things like he would set meetings up of like, let's meet with this hosting agent, to get into hosting. He tried to do stuff, but frankly, he wasn't very good.
No one ever understood me or what I was trying to do. I would have managers. I always ended up firing them because all the things that they did just, I felt like either I was losing money or they just didn't know like what was the appropriate thing for me.
What were you wanting to do that they didn't understand?
Well, none of them understood, like, because I kind of invented a genre, although I didn't invent it, but a genre definitely like popped up around me when I came into the scene called Nerdcore, which was like nerdy rap, and they didn't if they were smart, they would have been like, I'm gonna book you at every convention that exists. You're gonna perform at every convention that exists. They didn't know anything about that. They put me in festivals. And I'd be performing with like Kesha and like Big Axe and Jurassic 5 and you know, stuff like really like big musical acts, because they only lived in this music world. They didn't know that I was like this nerdy thing, should be going into nerdy places.
You were a boutique hotel and they were trying to put you in the Grand Hilton. Like,
for instance, I had this one manager who was like, the first thing he did was like, let's create a stage banner. And the stage banner was huge. It was bigger than any stage.
You talk like literally just a banner.
Like, you know, like a drop, like
on the stage.
Like on stage in a theatrical production, there'd be like a muslin,
like a backdrop.
And they made one for me that was huge, and they had no sense that I was playing dives and small venues, which is what I've always done. And I was like, what are you doing? I don't even know how I would get this up at a show. I don't have a crew. These venues don't.
How did they find you?
Well, this was the Good Charlotte people. But yeah, they just kept on making all these bad decisions. I felt like they didn't understand my genre of music or like what kind of music it was.
But
they would have me go interview at like Sony and do.
They saw you perform, right?
I'd sit down. Yeah, but I mean, they just didn't get it. They saw me perform, but then they're just like, "Oh, that's a square. Let's try to jam it through this round hole." And they understood the music industry, the pop music industry, but they didn't understand like the underground nerdy rap industry, which didn't even exist. I was inventing it as I went along, and it was only like cons that would figure it out. Like, oh, hey, you can have a booth and you can perform, and I would go to the con and.
How often were you doing that?
Everybody was like a fan, and I remember the guy who invented Walking Dead. Can't think of his name right now. He does Invincible as well, and he like brought me over to his table and he gave me all of the books. He was like the biggest thing going, and he introduced me to like a guy who became like my artist for 10 years. But I was really like in my element.
How often did you go do convention stuff like that?
Not often. And it was so early in my career, we were so scared that we had like a Boba Fett on a pin. And Steve,
that they were going to Steve
Sansweet came to our table one day, and he's like the lead Star Wars collector. He has Rancho Obi-Wan. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Oh yeah.
And he came and he like bought a button, and we were just so scared of being like litigated or sued. And I came to learn over time that like I'm anonymous and I'm really underground, so much so that I will never be sued. I will never get called on any samples or any, merchandising things that I'm doing. I'll never be called on anything because I'm just not that big, which was a great kind of place to be.
You'll never cut into Star Wars profits.
No. Hey, it's MC. If you want to support the podcast, which is a really awesome thing to do because it does cost money to make this, go to mcchris.com and click on the podcast banner. It'll take you right to our link tree, which will take you to our GoFundMe, all of our links, everything you need. Go there. Please make a donation. Every donation is so appreciated. Every week I get a couple of donations. I get the emails on my phone. It cheers me up. It makes me feel I'm not alone out here in the dark. So thank you so much for everybody who's donated. We've raised like $1,500 so far, which is great. There's probably going to be a Patreon in the fall. Stay tuned for that. And we really appreciate every donation. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, click the bell so you get notifications. Follow us wherever you can on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just so you never miss a show. Never want you to miss a show. You never know when it's going to come on. Sometimes it doesn't come on at all. So make sure you got those notifications turned on so you get alerted to the fact that Dana and I have sat down again and are about to give you all the wisdom. And don't forget to leave a review. You can leave a review in the comments, whether it's at YouTube. You can leave a review at Spotify. You can leave a review at Apple Podcasts. These reviews are so important to me. I read these reviews every week. They really encourage me. So if you want to encourage me, and I know you do, please leave a review. Sometimes I take pictures of them and I share them with Dana. Sometimes we read them on the show. We'll say your crazy internet name. Please leave a review. That's like the most important thing. And don't forget to like it if it's on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to follow. And don't forget to click the bell. And also leave a donation. Please support us if you can. Your support means everything to us. Okay, let's get back to the podcast.
Who are the other people in your genre then and now?
Well, it's like a group of like 5 guys, and no one ever succeeded, and no one's ever heard of them. But it was a lot of infighting and bickering, and a lot of like people online.
You guys were never on the same page.
Some of them are my friends, and I've toured with some of them, but it was never like it wasn't like Woodstock or something where everyone's friends, everyone's a hit, everything's like, it's a scene. It's never been a scene. It's been like I did something and another guy did something, and then a lot of people were inspired by that.
So what kind of stuff did they do? Like, was it all like Star Wars-y rap? It's specifically rap.
Well, no, I mean
with nerd topics.
Yeah. And then when I noticed, like, when I started, there started to be people who were like, can I jump on this show with you? And I would say no, or I would.
And these were other Nerdcore. And
it would just infuriate them. And so much so that I had like a bunch of people who were mad at me. And also I didn't like the title of Nerdcore when I started.
Was it like centered in New York? Or were they all over the place?
They were all over the place, but a lot of them were in New York.
The main guys.
Yeah, there's not a lot of guys. Pretty much I would I would tour the country and a local opener would play, and then I'd bring them on tour with me, and that would be the beginning of their real career. And then they would be like, oh, I can make money doing this. They would quit their jobs, and a lot of them haven't gone back to their jobs. Some of them are starting to go back to their jobs.
What would you look for in an opening act?
Basically, is this really about hip hop? Do you love hip hop? And do you care about like the original genre of music, which is hip hop and rap? And, also like, are you funny? Are you smart?
Right.
Those are the things.
Did you see them? Were you watching their acts?
Yeah. And I still do that. And the rapper who I'm going on tour with this summer is someone who I saw as a local opener in Florida. And I was
he's going to open.
He's going to do every single show.
So are you traveling together, or is he traveling separately?
Travel separately.
Right. Separate but equal.
But yeah, and so I think bringing openers on to tour, it started a lot of careers, and a lot of things are winding down. Though I am like having a lot of text conversations with people where we're like, should we keep doing this? And they're done with it, and I'm like, I'm going to keep going, and they're like, well, that's awesome, and I'm like, should I follow? Should I like run away to a 9-to-5 like some of these guys are doing? Because it is the smarter move to make right now.
Possibly.
But, I'm going to have a difficult time. This is something that I'm struggling with right now. I'm going to have a really difficult time, like, saying goodbye to America or, because I mean,
if you don't tour again.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I really love tour. I always think like, oh, I'm so scared about it, and oh, I hope it goes well. And I'm always thinking that before tour, like, oh, it's the end, and this is the last time I'm ever going to do it. And I'm just trying to soak it up. Like, oh, I'll never be back at Steak and Shake again. Although that's not true. I'll definitely go to Steak and Shake again and go to Waffle House again. But I mean, I'm also like scared of what's out there. And I've felt that way many times before a tour. Like, what state are we in with the country and what's that going to be like? But yeah, I'm trying to enjoy it and soak it up for as long as I can.
I find it interesting. I guess you kind of have to, but I think of like old comics, their opening acts would never be another comic. I know that's not how it goes. It's different now because people are just at comedy clubs. But like when it's like,
and I've tried all different kinds of things. It's not always rap. Sometimes it's like an indie act, and
like people who are not in direct competition with you are your opening acts. And by the time it gets to you, it's like
it's been really weird because like what happens is through osmosis, the acts that come before me, like if I have a show, will just start doing my act. Some even start telling my jokes. And it's one of those things where I'm just like, they're not enough of their own thing to know what to do next. They're learning so much from me that it's like it feels more like school than it does feel like
which is why you charge your opening acts to be on tour with you, which is very smart of you. It's very savvy.
I feel like we're on the cusp of that, but I definitely feel like I could be teaching this, or I could be, teaching this to young people or something, because I know so much about touring. And I know so much about running your own thing, running your own business, and putting out your own records and making. I'm
actually surprised you don't. With all the we live in LA. There's whatever those music schools are that are that you. Well, just don't have,
I'll see my heroes advertise a master class.
But I'm surprised you don't have you're not just a regular teacher at one of those as the business of music. Because you do all of it.
I'm probably headed there. I'm probably headed there because I don't know. I don't see any cartoons happening or any VO happening, and I'll have to come up with something pretty quick.
I think that you should do that. What's bad about it?
Nothing's bad about it. Yeah. I see people that are my heroes doing it, so it's. I think it's something that people just become teachers. You'll probably be teaching a voiceover class before too long.
I don't think I could do that.
You don't think you could be a teacher?
No patience.
No patience?
No. I hated school. Don't want to be in school.
Yeah.
Although I'm going to school in a few weeks for career day. But that's not like teaching.
I always have notes to give, on everything. So I figure if somebody gave me something, like a song, if they wrote a song, I could be like, well, here are my notes on this song. Yeah. Or here, if they recorded a song, I could give them notes on it. I could tell them what to do. I could react. I don't know if I could get up in front of everybody with a syllabus.
I feel like you have a good perspective of being an independent musician who does everything by yourself.
Yeah.
That for a lot of people in for lack of whatever the fuck they're called, rock and roll school.
Yeah.
That would be able to teach people for the first couple steps of their career, how to get out there and how to actually do it.
But the thing is, I don't think anything would have happened to me had I not been Hesh and MCP Pants.
But that's...
that is really what drew so much attention to me. And that's what kickstarted my career, and it's something I'm still using to this day. I just posted an MCP Pants meme on Facebook, and it was seen by 500,000 people. And it got over 40,000 likes. This stuff does not go away. It's just
And but still.
It's what I'm known for. And I don't know if I could say to a kid, hey, this is what you do.
No, but
and have it go as well, because they're not on TV. They don't have a show on TV.
But you know how to start a Facebook page.
Yeah, I know how to
start working at your local
I feel like I'd be really good
places.
at teaching a songwriting class.
But I'm talking about the mechanics of being on tour and making a tour for yourself.
Yeah. I've never, knock on wood, a lot of things that I see happen to other bands don't happen to me. I don't put a trailer connected to my van and get into a big car accident and lose all my gear. I don't get robbed and have all my gear stolen. I know how to tour, but and have nothing bad happen to you. And I feel like I could write a book, but I probably will, but I don't know. I just feel like without that Cartoon Network element or that Adult Swim element, I feel like I'm kind of saying, do all this and it'll happen to you too, because I don't think it will.
I'm not saying your class is about do all this and it happen to you. I'm saying so you want to do a tour. Here's what you got to do. Every day I'm calling a venue. I'm seeing what time they have. Here's a way to schedule it. Here's how, the practical, not how to be famous.
I double booked myself though.
Whoops. Well, you can talk about that. Mistakes are just opportunities to learn.
Oh, God.
I would find it fascinating. It's when I went to school, it was an acting school, it was a professional training school, but we had one semester once where someone talked about the business of, auditioning was all the time, but the business of acting.
Mm.
They barely told you about it. And in reality, it's one of the most important things.
Yeah, I feel that way about even what our kids are learning in school. I'm like, there's only one class they need to teach these kids, and it's like how to manage your money, how to manage your finances.
That's another thing. Yeah.
I remember I had a class in high school, and they were teaching us like how to write checks and how to like pay bills, and it was like a home economics class or something. I forget what it was.
That shit's gone now. There's no checks anymore.
Yeah, science is extracurricular these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go to the library for more info. Visit your local library.
Do you feel like the business side of what you've experienced and as your time as an actor has been that you would say something to yourself as a younger person as to what you would have done differently, you know?
Sure. Yeah. I think I probably, I would have, I had a unique situation that I left college with my union card. So I already, that was like half the battle of everybody who went to New York. Because you can't get in a union show. You can't get in a union audition without a union card, but you can't get the union card until you're in a union show.
Right.
So I had that. A lot of people would do theater works, which still is in existence. And they're traveling children's shows. It's like 8 of you in a van doing Dogman the musical. And they would make you equity stage. Why anybody did it is because they'd give you your equity card. It was like, almost no money, terrible conditions, everything. But at the end of that 4-month tour or whatever it was, you toured your region.
So you got your card, but what would you say to your younger self?
Well, getting the card and going, I mean, I would just have probably done 3 times more auditions.
Yeah.
And or I would have gone to LA much earlier.
Yeah.
I went to LA.
Is there kind
after I had got in Aquatine because they had an LA office at the voiceover.
Is there a correct state of mind or mindset that you need to have when you're auditioning? Like, what's your attitude towards auditionings? I know you've talked to me about this a little bit when I would come up to you and I'd be like, nothing's happening to me. What do I do? And you'd be like, well, you got to be really funny. and you got to like give them a couple alt improvised takes at the end.
I remember them telling, I mean, on voiceover stuff, I remember much more in LA here, like hearing there got to be readers sometimes for some of the auditions. And it was interesting. The guys who did lots of commercials, how often they just didn't really read the copy. They just tried to make the person laugh, and sometimes that's all you needed to do. But it was, I mean, those are, I don't know. I mean, I'm talking about auditioning more like I would have auditioned for more theatrical stuff, more, or even here probably pursued more live action stuff.
Were you when you didn't get stuff? Which doesn't sound like it ever happened. But when you didn't get stuff, how would you convince yourself to keep going?
I mean, it didn't matter to me. It's the nature of the business.
Would you get bummed out about it, or would you go drinking? Or
I mean, there's every once in a while there'd be something I really would want to do. Didn't necessarily mean I was right. I don't know. I guess I always had a healthy attitude about it that, I mean, I've been in so many things where they'd gone, all right, if you're over 5'8", you're cut. If you're under 5'2", you're cut. So, like, it doesn't matter if you're the best, if you could play it. It doesn't matter if you can play it. And even it doesn't matter if it can play it well. Sometimes it just matters that the lady you're going to be against has red hair and they don't want you to have black hair. They want a blonde guy.
I remember my mom took me to an audition as a kid because I always wanted to, like, you know, if there was ever anything in the paper like auditions, I was like, can we go? Can we go? And she'd be like, no. It's like my parents are really, because I was in a play once and someone came up to my parents right after the play and they're like, here's my card. He's hilarious. Let's get him into TV commercials. And my dad was like, no, because I had a cousin who was a child star.
Oh.
Became an alcoholic, blew his brains out.
Oh, dear.
So my dad was like, show business is dangerous.
Yeah. Your dad was not wrong.
Yeah. And so I never got to like audition for stuff, but I dragged my mom, got her to take me to an audition where you were going to play Tom Berenger's kid. Is that his name from Platoon?
Probably.
And we went to the mall. We got me an outfit.
Yeah.
With the top and the bottom matching. We went to the audition. Some other kids were in the exact same outfit.
Mm-hmm.
They set us all down on seats and they just walked in front of us, looked at us.
Yeah.
And then said goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, you're too fat.
Mm-hmm.
See you later.
Yeah. I hated doing in-person auditions. I used to be stiffened. Even now, sometimes if I still have one, because it's all this mental of like, what do I wear for this? Do I dress like the thing? Do I not dress like the thing? I find in the waiting room all the psychological, the games that everybody play. You know, some people are like real friendly with everybody, and maybe they're genuinely friendly, but it's also some kind of like teeing up of, you know, because everybody's there for this. There's one part, and there's 30 of you in that room. So somebody in here is getting it, but who will it be? And I hate it. I used to hate it. I would, even my voiceover agent, you used to all be in the room in their lobby because they had like 4 different booths that you would go to record. And I used to hate sitting in there. I would sit in the furthest chair out of the way in the corner. I would just read my shit. I would just try and ignore everyone else. I wouldn't speak to anybody. I mean, still to this day, I'm like a hermit there. I never go to any of the parties they do. They always have a summer picnic and a holiday party. Like, I just don't go.
How come?
I hate the social. I don't go to any.
You hate actors?
I do. I also hate like I can't remember which one it was. I think it was some Netflix show I did, and David Herman was also in it, and we have the same agent. And he called. I got a call from my agent like the Monday after. She's like, "Is everything okay?" I said, "Yeah." Why? She goes, "Well, Dave was looking for you and said you didn't come to the premiere party. It was this big party." I said, "Yeah, no, I don't want to go to that. I don't like. It's like the game, and I get it. Like we're all celebrating the thing is opening, but I just get social anxiety about it."
Is that why you like Adult Swim? Because it was always like you were dealing with the same people over and over again, and so
that certainly makes all of it nicer. Yes, and I feel like everybody at an Adult Swim thing, we're not in competition with each other. It's like it felt much more familial.
In that sense, Adult Swim is so different from LA.
100%.
You don't feel like nobody's schmoozing. People are just drinking and being friendly and hanging out.
Right. Yeah, the first time meeting Christy Caracas did not feel like I'm auditioning for this guy or he's in competition or something. You know.
That's my problem. I'd go to these parties and I'd be like, I'm a voiceover actor, and
right. And everybody's like, "But wait a minute, I thought you're like, I had that too."
I do it all.
Yeah.
Can I bum another cigarette? How do I get rid of this guy?
I don't. Yeah, it was much different. I just don't. It's like half people I half know. So I kind of do the same thing at conventions if it's people I don't know. I don't engage like in the green room.
You have your people that you know, and then that's it.
It's lovely to see them.
It's so funny how like...
But I also assume the cons are different because I also assume everybody in that green room, and nobody really knows who each other is, that I'm bothering them. Like, there's nothing worse, like you just got off the floor and then someone's coming over to ask you questions about...
You're not going to sit down next to William Shatner.
Right. "Hey, Shats. How's it going, Shatsy?"
Please go away.
Please leave me alone. Could you hand me a package of those Gushers? I'd really like some. You got it.
Yeah, I love the junior high lunch table thing never quite goes away.
Yes.
And you're like sitting there and you're eating and you're next to a table where everyone's laughing and having a good time and you're sitting alone eating and you're like, man, nothing has changed. It's been 40 years.
I just had this. I was sitting at the table in Chicago. I'm sitting there eating my own little things. I had a table by myself, and then Mick Foley and 3 other wrestlers came down and sat at the other side, but never say hello. Never not now. Mick Foley's very nice. He's like a very friendly, amiable guy. But they just sat and did their own thing. I was like, here it is, just everyone ignoring because nobody knows who anybody is now. And by the way, I've probably been to 100 shows with Mick Foley, and probably 30 of those we were tables right next to each other.
Yeah, it's so hard to say, hi, my name's this.
I know.
And you shake hands and then like you're friends forever. But like that something, I mean, I see people, there's a lot of people in my life in LA that I see all the time and I just never shake hands. I'm getting a little bit better at it with like parents and stuff, Yeah. But I remember once I was in the green room, it was me and Stan Lee, and we're at separate tables and we're alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, leave him alone. Just leave him alone. I'm like doing an inner monologue with myself. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Let him rest. He's old.
I mean, that's definitely the thing at those cons. Some of those people, and then also like, they're like, well, when they're a real famous person, you're like, it doesn't seem, even if it is, it doesn't seem genuine that you would just say hi. Like, I'll do that with people I don't know who they are and seem like they're, my level of nobody. It's funny, I have no problem doing that. But like last time, I mean, when I saw Weird Al, I only did it because he did it to me, and we have a mutual friend that we were both joking. Like, it was a different, but normally I would never, because he's like, oh no, we've been to many of these shows together. And I was like, well, I know that, but I just assume.
Do you get a Christmas card from Weird Al?
Not yet.
I do. Actually, no. I get a Christmas card and he wishes me happy birthday, but I don't think it's him. And there was one year where he sent me like, happy birthday, Chris. And I'm like, oh, this really cheered me up. I'm going through a divorce. You wouldn't believe what I've been through. I like wrote him a whole letter. And you could see it was his assistant replied back to me like, sorry to hear you're going through all that. I'll be sure to pass this on to Al. And I was like, what?
Yeah. But
it's like Chris.
Normally I wouldn't go up to somebody like that.
I never can tell if I'm dealing with an assistant or a person. Chris P like texted me before his party.
Oh.
And Titmouse had a giant party. And
that's probably Chris P.
Chris texted me. He's like, are you coming? But then Keith says 3,800 people there. I'm like, why would Chris P text me and ask me if I'm coming to his party when he's got 4,000 people lined up?
Well, he probably goes through his thing because he texted me that too. And I texted back. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And then he was like, well, I just want to, because I got that thing we were talking about. I think
is that what he said?
Well, he said something specific, but
okay.
It was.
Well, hats off to him. That guy's a go-getter.
Well, that's why he's got $100 million and.
He's doing that well.
I mean, he's got a Netflix deal for hundreds of shows.
He makes every show.
Yeah. I mean, another excellent success story from someone who just wanted to start a t-shirt company.
Yeah.
That became basically the biggest independent animation company in LA for sure. I mean, they do stuff for everybody.
I had lunch with them. You ever have lunch and you realize that the other person's food's going away, but your food's not going away because you're talking too much?
I guess. I don't know.
I was going through. I was like, I gotta ask him some questions and so I can eat this food because I know he's only got an hour. He's literally. It's like being with the president or something, where someone's like, "Mr. President, it's time to go meet with the head of Switzerland."
That's what's hard sometimes. So go to lunch with certain people, and they are apex predators in the world of show business. They're giving you an hour, and that is a valuable hour that they are willing to give you.
I always like fuck it up. I'm always just like, I'm still in Adult Swim mode where I'm like with Dave Willis at El Miri eating a burrito, not really just talking. I don't know that like this is my chance to express my industry desires or whatever.
That's what you think you have to do.
I just hang out. I mean, we do talk about shows, but I don't pitch anything. I don't say any ideas I have. I don't.
I feel like
I'll try to get information. I'm like, what are you looking for, or what are you seeing right now? What do you like? What's the industry like? What are they after?
See, I feel like I'm always the opposite of that.
What?
I don't want to talk about any of that. I feel like we're going to lunch because we're going to lunch.
Yeah.
Not for him to have another like business lunch of, just like how's things, How's the kids?
Yeah.
Did you see that new roller coaster that just came out? Like a little respite from their busy business life.
Do you take general meetings with anybody ever anymore? That like where it's supposed to, you're supposed to hang out and show somebody what you're like, but you know it's like a step on your career path?
Not really. I mean, I couldn't.
It's something for more like a young person to do.
I couldn't. I mean, I don't even know.
You're hanging out for the most part. You're never having business lunches.
I mean, I do, but they're not like. I don't even know. I mean, I feel like that's more a thing when you're maybe like an on-camera actor or a writer. I feel like mostly what I do and have always done is not the kind of thing where you have generals. Maybe if you're looking for...
That's for creative types.
Yeah, I think it's more of that stuff. Like I've had them, but it's always been...
Have you ever gotten a gig from a party?
Oh, yes. Maybe the strangest gig I eever got.
Which was?
Or arguably, as some would say, the worst show that was ever on Adult Swim.
12-Ounce Mouse?
Nope.
Although people do like that show.
So keep guessing.
Was it live action?
No.
Minority Team?
Correct. Yep.
Wasn't that big though?
I don't know.
Was it made by Venture Brothers? Or
no.
Who was it made by? It was
made by Peter Girardi, who's now like second in command of all of Warner Brothers Animation, who also did Saw of the Mole Men, and Todd James, he's a very famous what do you call it? Not outsider art. Like he was a graffiti guy. He was in Graffiti Wars. He did all the artwork for it, and then Adam De La Pena, who previous credits were like I'm with Busey. He was the guy who was with Busey on that Comedy Central show. So the three, and they had all worked on Crank Yankers. That's what it was. Todd James designed the puppets. Pete sort of produced. He's also an artist. And then Adam, I guess, all three of them worked together. And then this was their pitch to Adult Swim, was Minority Team. And I met them at a party at Formosa Cafe right after Dave and Matt were in town. They had done some Adult Swim thing for the Directors Guild. And then afterwards, Adult Swim had a party for all of us, reception at the Formosa Cafe. So we were all just there. And then I had super loved that show, I'm with Busey. And Adam had come up and said hi to me and was like, oh my God, like I love, and I was like, I love this episode. I thought this one was great. And he goes, oh, we should go have lunch one day. And then we had lunch, but lunch was he and Pete Girardi and Todd James, and them saying, oh, well, we're doing this show and we want you to be in it.
Who did you play?
I played Dr. Wang. Everyone else was the ethnicity they're supposed to be. And then there was Dee Snyder as Dr. Wang, the smartest man in the world. But they were like, can you do a Chinese accent? I was like, what kind you need? I was like, I got two guys. I got the Confucius style, and then I got the cool Southern California guy. And they're like, all right, we went that Confucius style. But I came from that party because I met those guys at the party. And they were like, we didn't know what you were like because we didn't know. We knew what Aqua Teen was.
Do you think the kissing up helped?
I'm sure, but it was genuine. I didn't know I knew he made that show. I had no clue he had anything to do with Adult Swim or had a show that they had just sold. I had no clue they were doing anything about it. I just saw him. He came by and said hi. And then I was like, wait a minute. You're in that show, I'm with Busey. And it was great.
I had a screenwriting class at NYU, and the teacher was friends with Brian De Palma, so she had Brian De Palma come into class, and we were all supposed to pitch to Brian De Palma. And I sat down, pitched him my movie, And then, and I said, and the soundtrack's going to be a lot of classic rock. And he goes, classic rock? I'm like, don't you know what classic rock is? And he's like, get the fuck out of my office. And I put that line, get the fuck out of my office, in all my albums now. And it's in the skits when I meet my manager. My manager's always like telling me to get the fuck out of his office, and that's where it comes from. And I was walking up the steps, and I back to my seat. I look back at him. I'm like, I'll show you someday, curses.
Why did he?
But he wanted to show us to not be smart alecky in any way during a meeting. And then the next kid went up, and he's like, I love Body Heat or Body Double. I forget which movie the kid said, but he sat down and started kissing up to him. And he's like, that's how you do it. That's how you start a meeting. And the teacher told me later on, so I was like, oh, he thought you were really smart. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he did.
So he was being harsh as a way to illustrate this is what
teaching
it
us
could
how to
really
pitch.
be like.
Yeah,
right.
He's teaching us how to pitch.
He's trying to give you real world conditions.
Yeah, which
in
in
extreme
NYU
way.
you were like so in a bubble, you have no idea what the real world is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and then like the next person sat down and started kissing his ass, and it's like, I'm like, oh, you're supposed to be disingenuous, and you're supposed to be like real. You have to find some way to kiss up to somebody and have it be real and have it not be a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh. And I mean, I never really utilized that in any way. I never found an opportunity to sit down with somebody and be like, oh, I love this shit so much that you do, that you just like talked about.
Who would that be?
Oh, God. Well, there are people where usually if I really love somebody, I don't want to bother them. Like I saw one time I was in New York City, and I saw a Beastie Boy on the subway, and I tapped him on the shoulder, and he like turned his head and looked at me like he was going to kill me. And I just said, thank you so much for your work. One time I saw Amy Sedaris on the street, and I tapped her on the shoulder, and I was just like,
nice tits.
I was like, you got a nice ass.
Hey, you got a sweet little keister there, baby.
I said, thank you for all the work you've done. Like, that's what I'll ever say to a celebrity, because I don't want to bother them. I want to I am
why
bothered.
not say anything?
Well, because I'm compelled.
You can't help yourself, right?
Can't help myself. But I don't know how to like gush. Maybe if I met the right person, it would come naturally.
Yeah. Speaking of coming naturally, I have to go to the bathroom. And this is
do
natural ending. Number 1.
To come
Not to
naturally.
come.
I got to come naturally in the bathroom.
My bladder's coming naturally.
Well, this has been a great one. Thank you so much.
This is all showbiz version.
This is people want to know this stuff. I would have loved to have heard this podcast back in the day. But
Maybe
thank
we
you,
can send
Dana.
it
I
back
appreciate
to
it.
us.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Chris.
Hey, it's MC. Once again, come see me on tour this summer. I'm touring right now. The summer of 2025 for all those of you who are in the future. Go to mcchris.com/pages/shows for tickets and information, where I'm going to be, how much it's going to cost. It's not going to cost a lot. It's a very inexpensive ticket, so you should buy it. So go buy it. Go see all my dates at mcchris.com/pages/shows, or click on the tour poster if you want a street team and get the word out. The link's right underneath the tour poster there at mcchris.com. I hope I see you out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have a lot of great songs about candy and Boba Fett's and pizza and ninjas. I have some jokes that maybe go on too long, probably about Andor and how it really should have been called Luthen. I'm going to have some throwback merch, some cool pins and hats, all kinds of shit you don't need but want. And that's a responsibility. Okay, thanks for listening. Thank you so much for all the support. Keep on listening to this podcast, and I hope I see you out there on tour. Go to mcchris.com/pages/shows for tickets and information. Okay, thanks. Bye.